Thayo people. Ũcio nĩ Waithi Ageni wa Kĩariĩ, kana ũngĩenda no ũnjĩte Nduta wa Kĩariĩ. Nyumĩte mbarĩ ya Thirũ, na nĩ ndĩtĩagĩra gũkorwo ndĩ Mũnjirũ. Arĩa moĩ ũhoro wa Anjirũ nĩ moĩ tũrĩ atongoria. Ndĩtĩagĩra mũno gũkorwo ndĩ Mũnjirũ. Na o rĩngĩ nĩ niĩ Gĩkũyũ Queen. Mũnjirũ wanyu ngwĩhoka mwĩ thayũ. Yeah, ndĩ haha trying to warm myself because outside today is minus 19 today. It's soon gonna get very cold. So we are here trying to warm ourselves. And today I'm having a very interesting afternoon because I am having a book here which is very interesting. By one of my favorite Kenyan poets. His name is Mufasa Kibet, Mufasa the poet. And the book is called Raising a Son. See these people? So let me just give you a brief history of me and Mufasa. Mufasa and I go way back before I even became Mama Nyambura, before I was Mama Asali. And I remember the last event he had was titled Blame My Roots. It was very huge at Alliance Française. And I was there 8 months, heavily pregnant. And I've never forgotten. And especially one of my favorite poems is When My Daughter Is Born. And it made so much sense to me. It resonated so much with me. Like, it's like he was speaking for me and so many other mothers. I mean, so you need to buy Mufasa's book. Mufasa, if you're out there, I'm sending you a shout out from cold Winterland, Norway. I'm sending you a shout out from this Mujiro Queen, from this Gikoyo Queen, sending you a shout out. Please get in touch with Mufasa. You can find him on all platforms, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, anything. I mean, just find, you have to know Mufasa. You gotta know Mufasa, right, people? Yeah, and let me tell you about this book. This book speaks for me. This book speaks for you. This book speaks for all of us. This book speaks about our country. This book speaks about humanity. This book speaks about the many things that we are mostly ignorant about. It's a collection of poems written from Mufasa's heart. See? It's even signed. How you meet the writer and author and they just have to, just sign the book for you. And I love what you wrote to charity all these years. Thank you so much, Mufasa. Thank you so much as well. It is a very great honor to know you, to be part of your journey. I once styled Mufasa during one of his events. And guess what, people? We come from the same town. Yes, Mufasa comes from the same town as I am, Kikuyu Town. Kikuyu Town is a hub for so many, creatives. I'm talking about Goofy Dogs. I'm talking about Ian. The list is endless, people. The list is endless. If I was I'm just talking about a dope photographer called Mwangi. So it's a place where I'm talking about Sokoloko. Shout out to Sokoloko, shout out to Abuya Mareveta. It's a place where you get very interesting creatives. Shout out to Jenga Wamudaka, a spiritual brother out there. Shout out to all people who come from this creative side. Shout out to Bella Achieng. She's an artist who happens to be my neighbor. She's one of the dopest artists who is doing African contemporary music. So this book, I've had it for about 3 years now, 4 years. And this book speaks, like I said, it speaks for me. It speaks for us. It speaks about us, about who we are as a people, about why, we are so ignorant about so many things. It speaks about our politicians, And at the back of this book, this is what it says about Mufasa. Mufasa is a versatile performing poet who uses spoken word poetry to tell stories inspired by day-to-day life on the African continent. Did you see that? African continent. His words dance with vulnerability and honesty, a sublime communication provoking change and reflection. So guys, people, get in touch with Mufasa. get this book. I mean, it's a very interesting book. Very interesting book. Like on page 63, let me just read this. It's so interesting. Discover yourself before you discover her for you. Discover what breaks her before she's half of you. Like very deep, very deep. And when you're in this winterland, let me tell you about something about me, people. Every time I'm here, I have decided that I will bring my Africanness with me everywhere I go. And of course, with my feathers, keeping me also warm with the fire here. And I decided that I will not shy away from who I am, from my lineage, because it's who I am. I'll never change. I'll never change my DNA. So the better you understand that, the better you appreciate that, the better you start embracing yourself as an African, the earlier, the better. I mean, you have a phrase now in Kenya that says, Mapema ndio best. Mapema ndio best. It's time, people. It's time to stop shying away from your Africanness. Show it off. I mean, our melanin is something that people fight for. We're going to have a discussion about melanin, because melanin is very, very, like it's something that we need to treasure. Like it's something we should be proud of. And for me, I always say that I didn't choose to be born in Africa. Africa chose me. Africa chose me, and I love that Africa chose me because it's a beautiful continent with beautiful people, And I've seen the diversity in us. Have you seen the women from Ethiopia? Have you seen their hair? Have you seen our Koyo queen? Have you seen our queens from the lakeside, the likes of Lupita Nyong'o? Have you seen South Sudanese women? Have you seen their height? Have you seen how they just command respect when they're walking? Because ain't nobody who got height like a South Sudanese woman, And if you go, guys, you must have heard about the Himba women from Namibia. You must have heard about the Himba women. Like, they're one of the most beautiful women. They're one of the most beautiful, beautiful women in Africa. And we are all beautiful. We are all beautiful. You just need to embrace yourself, embrace your beauty, embrace who you are. You can never change that. And the moment you do that, the universe responds to you that way. And I know for so long there's been this struggle because we've been conditioned to hate ourselves. That's why in Africa, a percentage of women have bleached their skin, because we thought that when you're light skin, you're more beautiful. We didn't appreciate our brown skin. We didn't appreciate our black skin. We don't appreciate well enough. We don't appreciate good enough. But maybe it's time we start doing that. And we're only gonna do this if we just show it more, if we just start being okay with how we look and how we are. Yeah, and just being out there and just appreciating each other. When you see a beautiful woman out there, just tell them, you look beautiful, queen. You look handsome, king. Let's start complimenting each other. It's the only way. It's the only way if you start doing this. So I have decided not to shy away from it. It's more like, just like being in a movement of, we can do this, people. We are great people, only that we've been conditioned and told that we are not great. We are great. And the world knows we are great. And if you want to know the world knows we are great, look at all the wars that goes on in Africa. The Niger Delta is one example. Look at Somalia because of their coastline. Look at the Congo now. And all these people is by design, because they know the moment Africans will realize how great we are, then we're gonna be unstoppable. We will be unstoppable. But so they keep on doing this. Like, they want to show us that you can't do it without us. You can't do it without us. And that's why something like poverty, people, poverty is by design. It's not that we can't eradicate poverty. We can, if we want to, if our leaders choose to. But then our leaders are used as puppets. So they keep on giving us these small handouts, And in return, the nature of a human being, we become dependent on them. On them, so we are unable to come out of the system. So it's more like a system to just mess us up, a system to just destroy us, like it has always done. So the only way we're going to do this is we first accept who we are, know your worth, start learning about your own story, not history, like your own story. Start talking to your grandmother, start talking to your grandfather. Ask them, what was our story before colonization? Because it's like we never existed before colonization. It's like before we were colonized, we never existed. We existed, and those stories need to be told. because we need to start telling our children better stories than we were told. We need to start the African story before colonization. We need to start talking about our greatness. Tell them about great leaders who ever lived. For example, I have chosen that I will tell my daughter about her grandmother. I will tell her about Wangari Maathai. I will tell her about Wamboyi Otieno. I will tell her about these great women who've been there before. Michelle Obama. Tell your daughters about these women. Tell your sons about these great men who've been there. Barack Obama, even though there's so much controversy surrounding him, just tell them about Martin Luther, Malcolm X, Steve Biko, Patrice Lumumba. Like, the list is endless. The list is endless, people. So we just have to start doing this. And then when we've done that, we don't stick there. Because again, our people are all, it's like we want to go back to those times. There's so much we can't go back to, but you can only learn from it and then move forward from it, because we are in a modern world now. We have to move with the world. Again, that's something, we have to move with the world. So we have to know ourselves, know thyself, know who you are. And then from there, know your, a person who doesn't know their story is a person who is as well, like, you don't know yourself. If you don't know your story, you don't know who you are. You don't know your identity. And it has to start even with the naming. We have to stop this naming of white people's names. Have you ever seen a white person called Joroge or Nduta or Wamboy? No. But we have to stop this thing of Peter and John and James and Kimberly and all these white names. We have to start giving our children names that have African origin. African origin. It's the only way they will start being proud of their roots. And you have to show it by example. So if you're a parent out there, just show it by example. Just live it so your child can imitate it, so your child can learn it. So when my daughter looks at me, she's like, yes, I'm beautiful because I've seen it in my mama. I am enough because I've seen it in my mama. When they see their hair, they're like, yes, my dreadlocks are enough because my mama has them too. My mama's friend has them too. My mama's friend has an afro. My mama's friend does braids, and it's okay. We can embrace this kind of beauty. So thank you so much, guys, and I'll keep on speaking my truth.